Call the meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Allen here. Mr. Sigmund, I'm here. I guess we have the pledge, and Chad, would you lead that for us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, so a special meeting of the Water Board. Get over. And we're going to adopt a resolution, and this is our piece of business dealing with phase one of our water line replacement and improvement project. So everybody's here, and I'm going to turn the floor right over to our great leader.
Oh,
Jason.
There
There you are.
All right, the first special order of business for the record to consider for adoption a first draw resolution which will approve the payment of invoices from the proceeds of West Virginia Revenue Bond Series 2023 to be issued by the city of Clarksburg for lead service line replacement and other improvements to the waterworks system, which is operated by the Clarksburg Water Board. Tom or Shelley, which one you want to handle that? We'll tag team it here today.
I can go ahead. You guys have seen these before. It's still almost exactly the same as it was on the design loan. There are new costs for the closing, and those are all outlined there. You have some new funding sources added, and total is $197,560. I also have
I'm sorry, where's that total again?
$197,568.
Oh, there it is, up there, yep, there,
Yep.
Gotta be careful.
So the front page kind of summarizes everything. The next two pages are the required draw for closing, one for you guys and one for the city council. Then we have an expenditure tracking sheet included with all the draws, followed by all the invoices to be paid with this packet. I have 5 copies. After what we're gonna sign.
We'll take a moment and just glance through it here. If you want to sit down and be comfortable, you can stand there. We better. I don't think we look fast enough. Okay. Just. So the first order we're going to do is to adopt the resolution, because I see it here. Okay, to approve the payment of the things we agreed to do.
That's right, yeah, the resolution's printed on the front there.
Yeah. And all the invoices are attached. Okay. Well, we've seen this as we've gone along. A lot of this stuff we've had discussion.
Oh,
I'll make a motion to,
Yeah.
to adopt the resolution to approve the payment for the invoices. Proceed to the water board,
We've got
revenue
this
bonds.
has gone along with some
I'll
of the stuff.
second Chad's motion.
Okay, that's it. We got it on the
Well,
floor.
do you need to do the amount,
yes.
for the amount of $197,568.
And actually, the agenda item references 23 bonds, they're actually 24 bonds.
Now let's clarify that.
I was
Okay.
supposed to, I copied and pasted them.
I know, I think that was made.
Because they're, because I see here another amount, 197,000 on the second page asking us to make payments.
So it's just, kind of the standard requisition form on the front, and then the first draw with the closing process has a second form that says very similar things. One for you guys and one for the city council.
Okay, on this, so we're paying 197, 538, 568, I mean, on two of them. So I've got to sign both of these. It's just a matter of, we don't have to have two.
That's
motions or
correct,
anything.
yes.
Okay, it's just the formality of the second page.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any further discussion on this? We kind of, and it's a pretty thick document here, but,
Those are all expenses that either we have already
Yeah,
paid
we-
and get reimbursed.
we've been discussing these for some time, because I look at some of these figures and they all sound familiar over previous meetings.
There's a couple in there that's dated for the fifth at closing to pay like Smith, Cochran, and Hicks. And Stephen
Well, and I see
Johnson.
copies of checks that
I
are
think Tim
written.
Stranko, did you?
No, I don't have any
Oh,
fees.
okay.
My theory is the ratepayers are paying me as on a retainer and those costs would be included.
You're a good man. Thank you.
All right,
So my drop in the ocean.
all right, we have a motion on the floor. If you guys are reading through this, if you have any questions, let's raise them now.
See, Department of Highway's getting $30,000.
Well, they already got it. This is giving us back our money. Yeah, and after we paid that, Paul, they now no longer charge for permit fees. I said, yeah, it's because we went and dropped the mother load, so it's free for everybody else.
Expensive, it's registered fees.
Well, actually, I called and said, can you give me a refund, me back that?
Let's pull that permit and
Yeah.
reissue it. So all those.
Okay, so we have, I'm just looking at, we have three motions or four motions? We have
Three motions.
The three.
Yeah.
Okay,
You got your first draw resolution.
yeah, the sweep resolution.
We
And
do
then,
each
and
one.
then awarding the bids. Is that what
And
it
then
is?
awarding the certified bid,
Yeah.
certified bids. approving
I'm
it.
sorry, I was.
That's okay. All right. Well, we've seen some of this stuff before, but not in this detail.
So all of those costs will be paid at closing. The bonds are scheduled to close on December 5th.
Okay,
And so at that point in time, if the closing occurs, that first draw will be funded by the funding agencies.
Mhm.
And that's coming from the base loan. So that's coming from the Series A, 2024 A bond. And the DEP will fund that amount into the project fund for payment of those costs at that time upon closing.
The city council will only be approving this first draw. Any additional draws will be done by water board.
It's just for a combination of town.
That's just a formality. That's the way it's been done in the past, and I think that's what you suggest
Yeah.
to be done, and then any subsequent pay requisitions will be handled by the water.
I just glanced, so I can't see.
And that's the same thing that's happening for the sanitary.
Okay,
board.
we have a motion on the floor. One more time, any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor of passing this first draw resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Let's move on to the next thing. I need to sign these.
You can sign at the end, I've got two copies.
I can do it over here.
Okay.
I'll just lay it right there and I'll do it afterwards. Okay, let's go to the,
Resolution.
All right, yeah, the
sweep-
next one we
sweep
have-
resolution.
To consider for adoption a sweep resolution which will approve the electronic transfer of funds by the Clarksburg Water Board to the West Virginia Municipal Bond Commission in order to pay debt service, fund reserves, and pay other costs associated with the water revenue bonds series 2024.
This
Being
says,
issued by the city of Clarksburg for improvements to the waterworks system.
this says,
Operating.
may I interrupt you? This says spring, it says series 2023 on the contract.
Yeah, he said it was a typo. It should be 24.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm reading with you.
By the Clarksburg Water Board.
Okay.
And then
You want
Tom?
to explain that, to kind of understand it? We have people viewing, we're on TV now anymore, so.
Excellent.
This is Tom Amon, who's our
Our-
bond
all
coordinator.
right.
You're considered bond counsel, is
Oh,
that
yes.
what your title is from Steptoe and Johnson?
Yes.
If we have people who seem to back of your head, no wonder who's talking. That's okay. You want to explain so, or
Don't get excited, no one watches.
I thought this was.
We're not very popular.
it's not live, it's not live and it's unedited, so I just want to let you know.
Alright. So the sweep resolution, this is what you all have done for all your outstanding bonds. The bonds are paid to the debt service payments to the municipal bond commission. And so, and it comes from water board funds, not city funds, so that's why the board is adopting this. And it's an automated transfer, it's basically a debt, an ACH transfer. Is it ACH, Jason?
Yes, they do an ACH.
ACH transfer every month to pay the debt service on all your outstanding bonds. So this just adds these new series of bonds to that process and references the same account. And that's the authorization that the bond commission needs in order to add these new bonds to that process. And that's it only references the A and B bonds because the C bonds, you won't have debt service on those bonds.
So that's the explanation of how the process works. It's really not new. We've done this before. It's just the procedure now. We're adopting the approval to do this. So anybody have any questions? Let's get a motion on the floor.
I'll make a motion to approve the sweep resolution.
I say this duly seconded. Now, we've heard a description of what's going on. I don't think it takes a whole lot of explanation, but if you have any questions, let's do it now. So we've been doing this, so since we really have an understanding and it has to be done. So let's move on with the vote. All in favor of the sweep resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Go to the item 3. This is going to be a quick meeting.
2, okay, the next item for consideration is to review bid results for waterworks system improvements project consisting of improvements in the areas of Northview, Staley, Rosebud, Van Buren Street, Main Street, Pike Street, and other portions of the service territory of the Clarksburg Water Board, and consider the award of bids for such project upon considering the recommendations of the Thrasher Group Incorporated consulting engineer to the Clarksburg Water Board for such project. Steve?
All right,
Okay, now let's again start identifying people because people are hearing voices. This is Steve Haynes, who's project engineer with the Thrasher Engineer. Okay, Steve.
So I'll just read this quick letter here. This is addressed to the Clarksburg Water Board. Since the Thrasher Group has documented the bid results for the above referenced projects, which is the ones Jason stated, contract went through for. And we have the enclosed certified bid tabulations. Thrasher takes no exception to the results as certified. Based on certified bid tabulations and contingent upon available sufficient funding for the projects, we recommend making the following awards. Contract 1, Bear Contracting LLC for $13,888,700. Contract 2, Joss Enterprises LLC for $19,287,779.44. Contract 3, D&M Contracting Inc., DBA Paramount Contracting Inc. for $2,282,000 even. Contract 4, Independent Enterprises Inc. for $10,100,395.00. And please provide any questions or comments to Doug Smith on this and his number and email address there. So these are the certified bid tabulations, and we provided copies of the past, and there were no changes to the low bidders there. And then after that, we also have a drafted letter prepared that basically from the Clarksburg Water Board, dear Mr. Smith, the Clarksburg Water Board met on November 7th and voted to accept the recommendation of the board. all of the same contractors and costs. And, so if you guys said you just go approve all that, we've got a letter drafted, basically.
You want that on
Basically
letterhead?
stating that you've approved it.
You want that on our letterhead, by the way?
Yes, yes.
You want to send that to me?
I'll give you the hard copy. If you want to sign it, or I can give you the electronic copy, whatever you.
If you want it on our letterhead, I can probably go grab the letterhead and probably make a copy of it on top of it.
That's fine.
This is a copy. This is the-
Either way.
Sign.
Whatever you want to do there.
Hey, where'd you get the 10 million for the fourth contract? It shows 12.8. For just the message board. And then you have you got one done with 1.2.
Okay, that's a good question, Jason. So Jason asked, hey, this 10,100,395 does not match what's on the bid tab. So how we arrived at that was, in order to make the funding match, I think we discussed this in the last meeting, was basically we are keeping deductible alternate number 1 in the contract and removing deductible alternate number 2 and number 3 to fall within the project funds, with, in addition to the funds, the additional funding that we received from the EPG.
That's because it came in higher than we thought it would.
So that's how we.
Okay, so I need to subtract alternate 2 out of this 12 million, 12.8 million, I need to subtract the alternate 2 and 3 out of that 12 million.
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
That's what I told you.
okay.
Get us where we need to be, but we still have to do those projects at another time.
Yes.
Right.
In simple terms, because people are watching, they'll have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, they call it deductive alternate. It's kind of a weird saying. I agree.
We gotta, we
It's
just
an
have to
option.
remember.
There are options.
And that's an under.
And the good thing is they're in the project, they're already permitted, so if there's remaining funds at the end of the project, it's easy
We
to
can
add
pick it
those
up.
back to the
We get it
project. You don't have to wait for environmental clearances, that kind of stuff. It's already ready to go, part of the health department permit. Yes, the 2 and 3.
So in essence, bottom thing is we had to cut back on some streets. We were going to do it this time,
Yes.
which will be done later. And if we find money at the end of this thing, we'll start doing some of that. But it's all going to be done. It's just in this first phase.
Yeah.
I'm
Actually,
talking simple terms.
a good way to look at it, none of Main and Pike were scheduled to be replaced in this project.
No.
We're fortunate enough to get Main and Pike added to this project as they were already in a future phase, but due to the additional coordination with all the other utilities and the DOH doing their paving project, we're able to get that into that project. So that's kind of a bonus in there.
I kind of repeat a lot of times because again, I know people, you're talking to us, but in essence, we had phase 3A, our first project. And it did not originally include Pike and Main Street. But because of the Department of Highways with a paving program, we were forced in a position of moving up the schedule on that and putting it into phase 1, which would affect the cost. But the thing is with the Department of Highways doing that, the city's going to put the sewage up, and Hope Gas is doing their thing. It's a big improvement for everybody. But since that affected our pricing on this bidding, we are still going to do the other projects, but it's a financing thing right now. And the other streets have been pulled back for a while, and then we'll add them in as we go along. Is that pretty straightforward?
So I assume then deductible alternate 2 and 3 will most likely end up in 3B.
Well,
I don't want to say that definitive because honestly, I haven't looked far enough ahead to know
3B or
exactly what
3C.
B and C are, so,
So
and
one
you
of those-
also don't know if you're going to have some streets that are going to be able to work into the first phase even. So we're a little ahead of that, but you're right, we'll probably have to move it into the next phase if we can, and so.
But I would like, this is probably a question for Shelby, and I think we need to get the word out there because I'm very proud of the accomplishment that this team has done over the last 3 years of putting together grant dollars.
Oh, yeah.
We're about $27 million worth of grants on this project. Am I correct on that?
24.2 million
24.2 million.
is the total grants combined with federal and state sources.
And that's with the additional WDA
Yes.
bid overrun. Our debt service is
34.9 million.
proofs in the numbers, guys.
Yeah.
We did a good job for people of Clarksburg.
Well, I mean,
Very proud of
when you
it.
do a project, you go out and a lot of people say, hey, we got this thing we gotta do. We just have to charge it to our ratepayers. And they pay the full load.
24.
But I tell you, our
Great
team really worked hard.
job,
Shelby, yourself and
Team
everybody,
here is
all of
very
them,
much
to get the grant money, so thanks a
$24.2
lot,
million
Shelby.
Our ratepayers, our citizens, of Clarksburg does not have to pay back. That's monumental. That's,
Tom,
Yes.
Shelby's done a tremendous job, and I didn't recognize her for our TV audience, those billions of people that watch. But she's been here many times, but I guess they don't know, Shelby is with the Region 6 Planning and Development Council, Shelby Johnson. Thank you for what you've done for us, I tell you, we have done
Couldn't
it.
have done it without.
Yeah, you got a team of people around you, so.
very proud of our accomplishment, guys.
Okay, where do we go now on this?
Guess we would make approval for the,
Did you
Results.
motion it? Did you?
no, we haven't done that.
I think we were in discussion.
We were in a discussion. Okay, what's your pleasure, guys? Let me go back to my agenda here.
You'll have to restate that for them.
Because we have these bids, is this accepting
Accepting
the
bids.
bid recommendation or what is it?
Do you want them to do it separately for contract?
I don't know, that's a
Tom?
complex. I think the motion would be to, accept the,
Certified bid results?
certified bid tab and recommendation from Thrasher Engineering.
And it's pure and simple.
And provide notice of award, right? You guys need notice of award. Yes. And provide notice of award for those particular contracts.
Well stated.
And those things can be attached, of course, to the minutes of the end there to support that document.
I'll make that motion. Thank you.
He'll make the motion, help us with the wording on it. We want to do word
So, I make
exactly
a
as
motion
you
for
said.
accept the certified bid, tabs and recommendation from Thrasher and a notice of,
Notice of
award.
award.
Yes.
Okay, then since you had that written down, why don't you make the
Yeah,
motion?
I make a motion to accept the certified bid, tabs and recommendation from Thrasher, engineering and the notice of award.
Thank you, Chad.
Second.
It's been duly seconded. We've had some discussion on this. What's your pleasure? Everybody ready to vote on this? Aye. All in favor of the motions presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, the last item is a catch-all. Is there anything else that we need to approve, Tom?
Make them aware. No.
We can put it in
It's
there.
just a result of the award.
I mean, do you want it in there? I mean, you got that catch-all in here.
I'm gonna have you sign it today, so it's up to you.
So it doesn't hurt.
Schedule B, motion to approve the Schedule B and give me authority to sign it on behalf of the water board.
And that's on our agenda. I'll make
Yeah.
that motion. We probably should do it.
Second.
Okay, we've got the wording, so we can do this, and it has to be done. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Anything else?
I have some documents to be signed, but no official.
We can do that
action.
at the end of the meeting. We'll sign documents. Okay, now let's wrap it up for people who are, these millions of people who are dying to watch this thing. To wrap it up, the next step is on December 5th.
You wanna go over that?
Let's
Where we
talk,
go from
let's
here?
talk about that. December 5th is where we
What's
actually,
gonna happen from what the board did today? What's gonna happen tomorrow? What's gonna happen on December the 5th?
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
Okay.
the city is going to meet tomorrow evening. Sorry, the city of Clarksburg is going to meet, tomorrow evening and complete their official actions for the project.
this isn't a regular council meeting.
Regular
Okay.
council meeting, at, 6 P.M. And so they'll have supplemental resolution. You all have done the first draw. They'll also approve the first draw. And so they'll complete their official actions and then they will sign their documents. Hopefully we'll have the loan and grant agreements.
Okay.
By then. I'm waiting on the debt service schedule. I think we have the borrowing amounts, but we need a debt service schedule to finalize the documents. Hopefully that'll come in today. Then we'll get that, finalize the documents. Hopefully that will allow them to send us the loan and grant agreements. The city will approve everything, tomorrow evening. And they will sign, their documents. And then the sanitary, that's something else. But,
This is our.
yes, then we'll send everything to Charleston. And there'll be a pre-closing on the 4th of December, where we'll have someone from Steptoe meet at, offices of West Virginia Water Development Authority. And then, they'll approve the funding and the closing. And then the actual funding will be done just by wire transfer of that first draw amount on the 5th. And that's it. That'll be the closing. Requires no further action of the water board or the city at that point.
So with the city step, they just have this one step tomorrow night. They don't have any second or anything. Okay.
Correct.
Any questions on the
Okay, so
process?
then what happens on behalf of Thrasher getting all the contracts signed for all four contractors that they just approved?
So,
Yes.
to lead up to that, now that you guys have accepted those bids, we will take that letter and we will issue all the notice of intent to award letters to all the contractors. Give them notice that, hey, we need to get your payment performance bonds in hand, original copies. We'll get it to, all of the funding agencies, Steptoe, Jackson Kelly, all of the other project team members to get them to approve all those. Basically, the contractor will get all of his documents signed, dated for December 5th. And then all of those, all four contracts will be packaged up together and they will be at the December 5th meeting for Mr. Cox to sign your documents.
I thought I had to sign something
Yeah,
on
you'll
it. We just
be
don't know the
signing all of
time
the-
yet.
All of the project documents that are already signed by the contractor.
We've done this before. That brings us up to date on this project to a degree. Now, here's the question everybody's wanting to know. We get all this out of the way. When do we start? Isn't that what everybody wants to know?
So what happens on December 5th, is also going to be the pre-construction meeting. So not only will we get those documents signed, but we will also meet with all four contractors. And at that point, we will start to find out what their schedules are going to be. They will start, now that their documents are signed, that means they will start submitting, the materials, what they're going to use. They'll get those to us. We'll start reviewing their materials. And then once they have shop drawings and approving those, then they order the material. So it's still a process for the time we get approved shop drawings, get the materials ordered. Yeah, I would expect construction probably to start in February, March.
When the weather gets conducive to do it, right? They get everything together.
Yeah, it's more or less what
They
the time
gotta
they
get their
materials
inventory
ordered,
pulled in and out.
delivered.
Staged. I don't know where they're gonna stage all this pipe and everything they're doing, but
It's up to the contractors to find the appropriate locations, but there's vacant lots,
Yeah.
scattered throughout Northview, Staley, that the contractors will make contact with those owners and probably utilize those too.
City owns quite a few of them.
well, you have any more comments on this? Because I have another question. Okay, so we've got to the point we're going to break ground on this. And I know our manager and I have been talking about this for some time, for several months. Key to this whole project for us is community involvement, understanding, meeting with them so they can feel more comfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable at times for people because other streets are being torn up, but we really have no choice. So we're trying to find, helping them understand how they can get into their houses and out and so on. And I'm sure they're going to have a lot of questions. So we've been talking about going out to the neighborhoods and having neighborhood meetings in different sections of town to let them ask questions and communicate. And that's still our plan.
That's correct.
And that should start here fairly soon.
Yes,
Right.
we'll discuss that at our meeting next week.
Okay, I'm just kind of lay out, I think, so if anybody is watching, they can understand what we're doing. And we can rely on the newspaper to help us because it's a process we're going through. We're trying to make it as painless as we can, but it's not going to be without pain. Any questions?
I don't have any.
Yes.
I want to add a couple other things. So there's a lot of other behind the scenes stuff that Thrasher will be doing as well, and that has to do with the lead service lines. So anytime we're dealing with those, there's a process. So you gotta go out, notify customers. Hey, will you allow us to replace your lead service lines?
Oh, yeah, there's
So
going
we
to
gotta
be a house to
document that
house thing.
prior to construction. And so then, we're gonna schedule a meeting with Clarksburg Water Board in probably, the Salem board members as well, as they have a lead service line project that's getting to start, and have a conversation with the DEP to make sure that we're all on the same page of how everything is being progressed and documented, because we're kind of Salem and Clarksburg are the first two projects to get this lead service line.
Yeah, we're like the guinea pigs and we have to do it right and we don't want to make a mistake.
We're
I'm trying to
the
restate
guinea
what you're
pigs, but
saying.
we want to do it right.
And we want to do it according to what they expect.
We're
So,
better, we're gonna set the standard.
exactly right.
We're gonna set the handbook up. I mean, we're
Yeah.
legitimately gonna have a handbook of, hey, RPRs. you gotta
This is how to
document
handle,
this.
a lot of cities are going to go through this.
Absolutely.
And so our city has been kind of like, we're out there in the forefront, working through this. And I tell you, I think all of our team have handled this from the get-go when this first was discovered. They did a great job.
Now, you all,
I know we're not just going to show up and start working in front of people's homes. There's going to be a dialogue between the,
Oh, people will be
Awesome.
surprised. They're like, I didn't know you would be in my house today, even though they've been working in their house for 3 weeks. They'll be surprised that morning.
you all proofread the letter last week
yeah.
that we are going to be mailing to all of our customers.
Yeah.
We're trying to comply with several things there. We're required, since we filed our lead inventory with the state on October the 16th. We've got 30 days now to notify all our customers that's got either lead on the customer side, which there is 0 lead on the customer side of the meter, or any galvanized requiring replacement. We have about 2,050 customers that have the galvanized requiring replacement, and that is on the customer side. So our customers aren't confused why some people's getting a letter and some people aren't getting a letter. We thought, why don't we just take this opportunity to tell our story
To everybody.
to everybody? So we're going to send it to all 8,000 of our customers. We're going to send letters to all of them. And in that letter, it's going to tell the story of where we were 3 years ago and where we are right now, and what to expect about the replacement of, if it says right in there, if your line is galvanized requiring replacement, we're going to ask you to replace your line at our expense. We're going to pay for it. And it already puts them on notice of what to expect. And that what this first phase where we're going to be working, and just kind of draws them, again, you had to get it on the front and back. So, so we're taking 3 years of history and really condensing it down in manageable terms. They understand it. So I think it turned out very well.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
simple.
been vetted. We had it vetted through Steptoe & Johnson to make sure everything was kosher with it. And it's already been sent. Clyde's working with the printer today to get those out to our folks. So they're going to know what their lead, they're going to know what their material inventory is on their side of the meter. And they're also going to know from 3 years ago to now what we did. We talked about our grants and things like that, to keep costs down. We shoved all that into a 2-page letter, and I think it turned out very well.
I think it was a good job to do
Yeah.
that.
And Jason, you guys have done a really good job over the last 3 years communicating with the public and our ratepayers. And I think they'll appreciate this cliff notes of what's going on. But I think a lot of people understand what we're trying to do and realize how much grant money is involved, what impact it could make, So I know there'll be hurdles, but I think we're ahead of the game right now.
Yeah. And the key is always the communication. It's not going to be perfect, but we're going to try to be best we can.
Yeah, the West Virginia Department of Health sent us a template. I would not send that out.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those one size fits all, doesn't fit our community. Our community is aware of what's going on.
And we're beyond what that letter means.
We're way beyond.
I think that was designed for people who have not been into this yet and so on, and kind of gets a little scary. We're past all that.
So we were able to tell the story and comply with the regulations of the lead and copper rule with this one letter. So I was very proud of that. It took several weeks to get it together, but I think it's a pretty good form, and we're sending it off. So
Jason, I appreciate it. You could share that letter with me as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll make sure to share that with all the inspectors, because those are the people that are going to be out on the streets every day talking to the people.
Yep.
And when they come out and ask a question, I want my guys to be up to date and kind of let it really be put out.
That would be
They have-
embarrassing. I could see where your people go out, knock on the door, talking to people, and they say, and your guy says, what letter?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I don't want it to happen. So I want
Yeah.
guys to be.
Good thought, Steve. That's a good catch. Anything else?
That,
Anybody here in the audience have any comments here as far as our people here? Any further suggestions or any comments? Mr. Attorney?
Well, I'm just, the 2050 galvanized that we're obliged to, that we may replace. That's up to the customer.
Yes.
But the project funding includes enough money to pay for 2050 customer service line replacements as well.
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I know there's.
It's been
There's
considered.
money
Yeah,
budgeted
yeah,
for.
okay.
kind of
But your
that
point
sort of
is,
stuff.
so I understand that, they've identified they might have galvanized lines. They make the decision, we're going to suggest that they replace it because of the inherent possibility, the
Yes, sir.
danger, whatever. But in the end, it's their choice. But
Yes,
if
sir.
they decide to do it, we're gonna pay.
This is the odd.
Is that pretty simple?
Yes, sir. And that's the odd piece of this project is we don't have certainty with regard to those 2000.
And, you know, nothing about this project, we're responsible for everything dealing with water. But up to the point of the customer's meter. And on their side, generally, it's their responsibilities. We're gonna be on the call of duty because of what's going on and going with their permission to build it.
With their permission, yes, sir. We won't require anybody to do anything.
And we're not gonna be doing that work. We're having a discussion today. There'll be a list of plumbers or whatever that are certified to do the work. They can pick who they want, right?
Probably Easter turning point.
It's gonna be interesting.
yes, Chad brings up a good point.
Yes.
This is our customers' window of opportunity. Once this project is wrapped up and done,
They can't come along later.
they can't come back and say, well, I want my water line replaced now.
8 years from
You
now.
missed your opportunity.
Be their responsibility.
We're not gonna, water board's not gonna be committed to replace it after this project's closed down. So this is their window of opportunity to get it
I think
replaced.
we'll get a lot of good response.
I do too.
I mean, it's an upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
People like free stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And in their essence, it'll be free for them, it's down to pay the expense.
Sure.
Now,
Anyway.
I wanna add a caveat to that. And that's what we have on record, it's 2050. Now, remember, this inventory was done with several different mechanisms.
Yeah.
We did old service orders, or old service records. We did visuals, by opening up the lids and looking down in it. Not a perfect world.
Customer questionnaire.
Customer questionnaires, either
120 watt.
postcard or on the phone. So several different predictive modeling based on the year that the home was built. It's not perfect.
Yeah, it could
But
go up
as
or down a
we-
little bit.
As we uncover, we're gonna find out. Because I mean, even when we pothole, you're only exposing maybe 8 inches of that line. And it's muddy, dirty, and you're down there scratching it. You're trying your best to see, but galvanizing lead, it is really hard to figure out down in that hole what it is. I mean, so this is our best stab at it, if you will. So it's not perfect.
Well, you understand, I've seen this happen, you've seen it too. People have a leak in their yard, they patch in a piece of pipe or something somewhere. The rest of it's all galvanized, you see this or vice versa, whatever, you don't know what's underground. And so, Paul just made the comment, it's true. This is not gonna be perfect. I mean, we're gonna do the best we can, okay? And we're gonna approach our customers about the galvanized, whatever. And there's gonna be people that say, I don't wanna talk to you. There are gonna be people who say, I don't want you because it moves my rose bush. They'll have reasons. Not everybody's gonna do it. They should, but you know.
And the other one is, Mr. President, of course,
Is
if
that-
you
is
kill
that-
my rose bush, now you gotta replace my landscape.
Do you understand where I'm going? Is that true? I mean,
Absolutely.
you have 2,000 people, all 2,000. In the perfect world, they all do it, but you just never know. We can't force an issue, right?
And that contract is gonna be between the homeowner and the plumber and contractor. We're just paying the bill. So if there's an issue, don't call us, because they're the ones that
That's a
secured,
very good point.
they're the ones that secured, they picked, this is the one they wanted to do it. That's the agreement between those two. So in
We're not
6
even-
months, if that line starts leaking, don't call Water Board. We had nothing in it, we just paid the bill.
That's a very good observation because people think we're doing the work and we're not. We're just paying the bill. Okay.
There's a lot of professionals there. They're not gonna have problems.
Oh, no.
It's a,
It's an easy
We
job.
got a lot of good plumbers.
yeah, that's what they do.
But we're not certifying the plumbers
Right.
in
No.
any event.
We're gonna vet them and provide provide them a list, then it's up to them.
Through the city's, business office code.
Exactly right, that's what we're gonna go by. The city approved them and so on, we think that they know what they're talking about.
Jason, I wanted to
Okay.
elaborate on another
I'm gonna have
comment.
to get some signatures, because
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go to another.
That's right, you gotta
You
get
got it,
a board
okay.
down.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
And
today.
he's got to a sandwich.
Can you just sign this out?
Too, so don't run off.
You need to sign this for him.
Before he goes.
Can you show Al what he needs to sign,
Yeah.
please?
Okay, well, he wanna make a comment, I'll be signing.
Yeah, real quick, Jason, you had mentioned that, hey, once you're given the opportunity, you can't come back. So we're gonna have documentation where we gotta make at least 3 attempts to contact the homeowner. And if at all possible, a signature, hey, I am receiving this service. And if we don't get that, it's, hey, we called you, we stopped by your house, we left door hangers, we'll
And all the
document all of
documents.
those attempts and provide that information to you. And I think you had mentioned the possibility of maybe even calling something at the courthouse that refusal of that galvanized replacement.
Certainly would be in the service file.
Those two, that's the only two on this here, right?
Gotta
That's
find
yours.
copies of that, but
What's
you can
that
get
called,
Tom's
Tim, a
stuff first.
disclosure on the
Also,
property
yeah,
or
you-
Okay, folks, let's do this real quickly because we have a lot going on. Is there anything else to discuss?
Look, no.
We're not gonna be voting. Anything else to discuss?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
There's a motion, seconded, all in favor of adjourning the meeting. Thank you all. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The meeting's adjourned.